Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Christina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
So this is so awesome that we're getting together. We had this idea, right, that we could take coffee and travel and mash it up and just have a fun conversation about all of that together, like the intersection of coffee and travel.
They
So
totally
I
go
think,
together.
right, right. It's
Yes.
a perfect pairing.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Makes for a
so let me
wonderful journey.
Yeah, exactly. Right? What were you saying yesterday about the journey?
It's the joy in the journey because all the
Yeah,
little pieces along the way of wherever you travel to makes it interesting, whether it's a cafe or stopping to make your own. But yeah, absolutely.
and even like the process or the journey of the coffee bean to the coffee cup. I mean, that's a
True.
journey as well. So I think
It
there are a lot of
is. It's a
similarities.
long journey. Yeah.
So real quick, if you could give a quick intro about
Mhm.
what is Call Sign Coffee Company, tell us.
So we started this just over 2 years ago as a way to give back to the military community because we were a part of that for 25 years. And so we wanted to find a way to give back to deserving organizations that uh, they benefit the military community through education. We give to AUSA Scholarship Fund. And so with all of our sales, it goes right back into helping those veterans, military spouses, and then their families, you know, have a little extra. And
Mhm.
that's something that we're passionate about. Our mission is always going to be positive because there's just so much chaos in the world right now. So all of our messaging will be positive. We try to be positive people, and it brings us happiness. And we love. I mean, we drink coffee all day long, so it's like, okay, how do we mesh a business with a love? And probably like you, right? The
Yeah.
whole travel industry. You love to travel.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, and I can attest that you are continuously caffeinated. So
True. So what about you? I mean, you have the greatest travel adventures.
yeah. So I founded Bluetail Travel in 2017, and similar to you, long military family history, and so I've seen the world through the military, but also on my own travels, and I really, I'm gonna just skip the elevator speech and tell you, I want more people to see the world, explore the world, and be in the world. Like truly experience it, enjoy your life, and get out there, right? That's what I'm all about. And too often it's complicated, right? There are a lot of logistics. How do you book something? It matters actually how you book it, not just what you book, but how you book. So I take care of all of those details for super peace of mind and most importantly, an amazing journey, an amazing experience so that my travelers come back and have the memories to last a lifetime. And really, I believe that we are citizens of the world, and it, the world and travel, it belongs to us all. So yeah, like you, positive message, like it's not been a great year for travel, clearly, but I love travel, and I believe in my soul that travel is a part of who we are as humans. It's just, and it's a good part. So
And it is. I mean, we want to spend our earnings, what we've worked hard to do,
yeah,
to see beautiful things and meet different people. And
yeah,
um, travel's come a long way since I was a kid, and we jump in the car and drive for 25 hours. Now we can hop on a plane and be across the world, which is
yeah.
amazing.
Or one of my great loves are cruises, so river and ocean
Oh
cruises.
yes, yeah.
And it's a great, perfect way to, the cultures of history were created along rivers and oceans. So um, it's a wonderful way to see the world or combine it with land. Anyway, we could talk,
Yes.
right? We
Oh,
could talk
I
about what we
absolutely.
love and our passions. So that's great. So tell us, Lisa, we've got some changes, right, in travel coming up, or, we're really moving towards lighter, airier, cleaner kind of environments when we travel,
Sustainability, right?
and sustainability. One
Mm-hmm.
of the things that we're seeing disappearing are the little coffee machines in the hotel rooms. I don't know how you feel about those, whether it's an espresso machine or whatever, but they're kind of going away, or at least they're going to be reimagined if they come back.
Right.
So aside from that, what I wanted to ask, how do you get your caffeine fixed? How do you get your coffee when you're traveling? What are your tips for us?
Well, one new thing that we've been testing, and it's kind of been on the market for a little while, but everybody has, tried these pour overs. And
Yep.
so it's a little compact pour over. In fact, we have friends doing a trip to South Dakota right now, and they're veterans and they have their own company. And so they're sending us pictures along the way. And what it is you pack your travel mug, which
I like
actually
brand.
travels really well because it's sturdy. You can put jewelry in there or any necessities, protects it, and then I pull it out. And this is the little key to success right here. So it's a little filter, and it's flat,
Okay.
pliable, and you just do that to it. It's like origami, right? And it comes apart, and then it has a little hole in the top.
Okay.
And you put your coffee down in there, and then you can pour hot water. So even if you're on the road like our friends are, you pull into a gas station and you just get some hot water, because gas stations are notorious for their bad coffee, right? So you go in and you get a cup of hot water, and then my handy dandy, this is fake, right? So you just pour it over that, and then you bring your coffee with you, and you have specialty coffee on the road. Now that's that's the kind of quick way, but as you mentioned in hotels, you can do that in a hotel if they have a little hot water.
Ask the room service folks or the reception to say you just need hot water.
Absolutely. In fact, they brought with them, because they have a van, they have a plug-in that heats your water for you. But that's a great way to do it. And if you really are set on bringing like K-cups, if you have space because they're big and bulky and they might get smashed, but that's something else that you can bring along the way. We did notice a couple of the like boutique hotels, they carry the nicer coffees. It's the bigger chains that have like the cheaper little K-cups that aren't that great.
Right.
But other than that, we do, if it's especially everybody's kind of hitting the roads and doing those roadside, hit this city and that city. Look for a local coffee roaster, and they always have the best tips too, right? Go up and ask the barista like what's to do in town, and ask for a suggestion for what they might enjoy. But there's so many different ways that you can get great coffee traveling. So
another trend that we're seeing right now is people doing vacation homes or vacation villas. And I think that's that little space pod that you showed.
Origami.
Yeah, that's a great thing also for like if you're going to a vacation rental, you might want to just boil your water and brew your own coffee instead of using the coffee machine that might be there. So or just bring your coffee with you and use the coffee machine there. But that way, you've got the good stuff with you to
absolutely.
your day.
Yeah. Well, what is your best tip for enjoying coffee when you're seeing the world? Because you're always traveling.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Like, seek out those local places and try the local way of having coffee, because it's going to be different in every country that you visit, right? For example, in Austria, you're always going to get coffee served with a glass of water. And
Mm.
and that you can cleanse your palate before you drink your coffee, but also after, right? So you kind of mitigate a little bit of that coffee breath. Um,
True.
so yeah, but duck in exactly what you're saying. I mean, get that authentic feel and duck into the local places. And for goodness sakes, don't be afraid to, I mean, you're clearly a traveler and a foreigner. It's okay, right? But show your openness to trying new things. And you can ask, what do you recommend, right?
Right.
If you want to do the master class version of that, ask, see if you can learn that phrase in the foreign language and ask.
True.
And or just point to what somebody else
Right.
is having and say, I want that. But yeah, just go out there and don't be afraid. And nowadays with travel, like if you're in a hotel, I'm one of those people, like if I don't have that, what you're showing,
Yeah.
let's say I'm just in a hotel, I'm going to be asking for a fresh brewed cup of coffee in the morning, because
And
yeah,
sometimes I've seen signs
necessary.
too where they say even just fresh ground, which even just the fresh ground does make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
mhm.
Okay. Very cool. Um,
Yeah.
what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you, because we're trying to do this like intersection of the world and coffee, tell us a little bit about the sourcing countries. Like any
Mhm.
cool things that you could tell us there, any insights or
Yeah, we work with a great importer. People have often hear of fair trade and direct trade. And what our importer does, it's even beyond that. So one thing that they provide is educational opportunities for the farmers that they work with. So we know um, where every coffee that we source from, we know the farmer's name, how it's grown, if it's shade grown. We know how do they fertilize it, we know uh, really the names of the people on the ground at that farm, which is pretty amazing. It
yes,
is that
so
connection that
local.
it's that global connection.
Yep.
Um, so we source from Guatemala, Peru, Honduras. I have a great Ethiopian, which that's on my travel list,
Mm-hmm.
and Tanzanian coffee, which is pretty wonderful as well, but and Brazil and Colombia. But I I tend to focus on the higher grade coffees, which um, for those who really are into coffee, whereas a Starbucks and a McDonald's might be a high 70 number, we're buying in the mid 80s to higher 80s. So we're paying a lot more up front, a lower margin, but it's totally worth it because we believe in bringing the best coffee to our customer that you don't necessarily, you can't really afford otherwise. So, and delivering it straight to your door.
And it's fast.
Yeah.
I know that. You order it.
Yeah.
It's
So
I'm
what is your best coffee travel story?
best coffee travel story. Okay, well, my favorite place to ever have had any coffee, I have to come back to Austria because I actually moved there for a year, and in large
Um,
part was because of the coffee house culture in Vienna.
mhm.
And so just going to all of these different beautiful, elegant cafes. I mean, you're talking vaulted ceilings and whatnot. And then
Right.
getting a menu that's like multiple pages of coffee specialties. It's amazing. So that's my like, I guess just in general that I love that destination for coffee. And it's also if you're on a river cruise, Vienna is often for a destination part of that. So I would say if you're doing that, definitely make the time to go to at least one coffee house. And then I have kind of a funny story if you want to hear that.
Yes.
So when I was in the Czech Republic, and this was some years ago, but I was living there as well. So I lived there for a year. Uh, I was invited to a friend's house for coffee. It was his parents' house. And his mother, well, I was invited for an afternoon, right? Um, and his mother served coffee, but it was Turkish coffee. And
Always
so
interesting.
brewed on the stove with the grounds and the sugar,
Right.
and served in the little tiny cups with saucers. And I, up to that point, had not, I mean, I just had not experienced that kind of coffee. So in my regular American way, I was, I was drinking the coffee and I didn't want to be impolite. So I was about to finish it. And I got a mouthful of these fine coffee grounds. And I didn't want to offend them. So I'm just kind of like, you know,
Right.
trying to like get these coffee grounds out
But
of
you
my.
can eat. I mean, they're going to pack a punch.
I was wired for the rest of the afternoon. But
Absolutely.
so yeah, if you're drinking Turkish style coffee, you don't want to like, really drink the whole thing.
Yes.
You get this sort of sludge at the bottom. But
And you can, I mean, you can even do that. It's called cowboy coffee if you're out camping.
okay. Yeah,
If, you put the grounds in with the hot water. I mean, the grounds are still in there, but they settle to the bottom. And I think just a little splash of cold water makes them go to the bottom. But same concept, not as sweet. Maybe, I guess it's how you want to make it.
It's how you prepare it, yeah.
And Turkish coffee is a whole experience.
Yes. Yes. So
that's so fun. That's a great story. And see, and you remember that still. How long ago was that?
Yeah, that is over 10 years ago. So
what a great experience.
So, and it's those kind of like interactions, though. I think so much culture is transmitted through food and drink, right?
Right.
And so coffee, I mean, I could create an entire trip around like a theme, like a coffee theme. But even without that, you just go, right? And experience it.
And people do that.
Yeah.
If they want to go to, I was in Costa Rica and there's a farm there. You can go and you can see the shrubs, the trees, or they're called shrubs. But I think when you make it a journey, along the way, it is a universal drink, so you can find it anywhere. And some of us, I like to travel sober. Let's just put it that way. I do like to have a little cocktail every so often in the evening, but if I'm on an adventure, I want to be sober, and the caffeine gives me that extra little energy.
Yeah, which you need when you're exploring. I remember so we went to Tahiti last year together with a small group. And the first thing, we hit the airport, right? And we had some time to kill. And this one heads over and gets coffee. It's the first thing you did. But it was a long flight, so.
I had to get through that day.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we know who we've got on board.
Right. And there are some great, for those people who can't do caffeine, because not everybody, if they have a heart issue, but not everybody, or, they have whatever issues that they don't want to do caffeine. There are some amazing decafs coming out. There's something called a Swiss water process that, I mean, they're just wonderful decafs out. Not like the old where it's just they burn it to no end. It just tastes like fire.
So that's good. So there are new developments for decaf folks as well. They don't have to settle for second best.
And honestly, too, and you probably feel this way, it's like your little travel companion sometimes, And it gives you that little extra to go out to that cafe in Czech Republic or Vienna to go and people watch and sit there and sit outside if you can, if the weather allows.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what can you give us in terms of a tip to maybe remember our travels or bring our travels home in some way? Like, how can we have travel in a cup, if you will?
Yes.
What's the tip there?
Well, of course, if you're visiting some of those cafes and they're selling their coffee, like down in Costa Rica and Guatemala, it's funny because, even their grocery stores carry the local coffee, and you can bring a bag back. So that's one way. Right, because some of those places you can't.
with
Yeah, well, and some you can't just order it online, right? So you get it there and you bring it back.
Mhm.
But that's a great way. And like you were talking about the Turkish coffee experience, maybe you find a little set that you can use at home. And we have like a little coffee bar that we have like 5 different gadgets, and we bought a frother just for our home to have that same experience, so
Mhm.
that you experience that joy, and it does bring that feeling.
Mhm.
So that's what we've done.
I like that. And maybe it's also about the ritual,
It
right?
is.
Bring that
And that
ritual.
memory, you're keeping that memory alive.
Mhm. Mhm. I love
Yeah,
it.
I know.
Okay, so hey, we created something special for everybody who is watching us whenever. So I wanted to show that. So you created for us a maple cinnamon latte recipe card, which is awesome. We can make this at home.
Yep.
And then on the back, we've got some Bluetail travel tips, and they're all about enjoying coffee, or coffee little tidbits from around the world. So
Yeah.
we'll drop that link either in the comments or in the narrative. So this was awesome, Lisa. Thank
Well, and I'm sure people who have utilized your services before understand that you are so customer focused and boutique, and you just do such a wonderful job. And
you.
everyone should be following you so that they can understand. You give some great tips about like drinking coffee in Italy, and the ordering espresso versus a cappuccino and the times a day. And
Yeah,
those are important. You don't want to look like a total travel fool.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Very
So
helpful.
thank you, Lisa.
Thank you
Hey,
so much, Christina.
this was so much fun.
I know, it's so great to see you.
All right. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.